Greetings in the name of Yahuwah and His Son Yahusha HaMashiach. My name is Malak Shalomo and I'm going to do a trade recap on my trade on ES today, MES futures, ES futures. Today is the 20th of March 2023. The time now is 9:05 p.m. So I'm doing a late trade recap today. So let's jump into this here, going into the money zone. And the money zone is basically a mini market profile. It only shows like the value area high, the value area low, and the POC level, which is broken up into upper POC, which is this one right here, and lower POC, right? So let's see here. Right, so yesterday's value area high was 39.65. The POC, upper POC was 39.40, lower POC was 39.35, and value area low was 39.10, right? So today we have a higher value relationship where you can see that the value area low is now higher than previous day's value area high, right? So the value area low, it was approximately 39.72. Lower POC was approximately 39.94.75. Upper POC was 39.98.25 approximately. And value area high was approximately 4,009, right? So in this higher value relationship, I'm looking for longs off of the value area low, right, to go long, or if it's above this POC level, comes back and tests it, or a breakout of this level to go long, or if it's above value area high, retest to go long, right? So that's basically the strategy right there, right? So looking at structure around those levels for a long position, right? So let's just look at something else here real quick. So besides the money zone, I look at the Camarilla pivots. Right, so looking at the Camarilla pivots here, we have a overlapping lower value relationship, right, where prior day's Camarilla S3 is 39.65.75, and today's Camarilla R3 was 39.68.50, right? So today's Camarilla S3 moved down to 39.26, right? So we have an overlapping lower value relationship, right, where Camarilla S3 moved down, Camarilla R3 also moved down. Let me just point these out. So that's prior day's Camarilla S3. That's today's Camarilla R3, right? So Camarilla R3 did not get below prior day's Camarilla S3. So it's still overlapping lower value relationship as the Camarilla S3 moves down, right? So if this Camarilla R3 was below yesterday's S3, it would be a lower value relationship, right? So that's actually suggesting that it's moderately bearish, right? So if this here was lower than this, then it would be very bearish, right? So it would be the most bearish the indicator could indicate, right? So this is a moderately bearish setup. So I guess you're looking for shorts, but you're not looking for a trendy kind of short, you know. I guess it's kind of suggesting that, right? So with that here, you can see now that these two indicators are conflicting each other, right? Because the money zone is a higher value relationship, but the Camarilla setup is suggesting a moderately bearish setup, right? So that's the money zone aiming for higher. This is the Camarilla pushing lower, right? So at the ETH open, we actually followed the Camarilla setup where we got a rejection off of the value area low, and we moved down to Camarilla S4, right? Excuse me. Then we pushed up from Camarilla S4 around, let's see, in the London session open around 420, 425. We got support at Camarilla S4 and we started moving up into the open, right? So let's see here, the open was around right, so around here, let me just make this bigger. Right, so around here is the open, and let's see something here. We're opening, let me just show you something else, right? This is another thing that I look at. Right, so you see that green line right there, that's annual anchored VWAP. It's the lower band version, the lower band of the annual anchored VWAP. So this is the one of the support areas in the annual anchored VWAP. So this VWAP is anchored from the beginning of the year, right? So it's calculating the volume weighted average price for the entire year so far. So this here is the lower version of the band, and this is usually a big support area, right? So with that being said, you can see here we're opening at this level and we're getting support, right? So when we open at 9:30, we bounced off around this area right here and started to move up, right? So if you were looking at that, that would have been a good long. Let's see what else kind of correlated with that. So Camarilla S3 is down here, so you're above Camarilla S3, and right, you would be heading off of this lower annual anchored lower VWAP. You would be heading towards Camarilla R4, right? So around 10 o'clock we got to Camarilla R4, broke through that, and we pulled back at around 10:15, 10:20, and made a higher low and broke above Camarilla R4 again, right? So putting back on the money zone right here, right? So when we're pushing up and we're breaking above Camarilla R4, we're running into the value area low, right, of the money zone. So when you run into that here, you're getting some resistance. It's pulling back to Camarilla R4, created another lower high, and then we pushed through, right, and we broke above. So now at this point, this is when I'm looking at the trade, right? So I actually wasn't looking at the trade from the beginning. I wasn't here for the open at my desk. So this is where I started looking at the trade. So we broke above value area low. So now we're in the market profile thesis of a long position, right? So I was looking for something like a retest of the value area low. Now, when it came back here at 11:15, I didn't like the risk to reward I got for the long position, right? Because I wanted it to come back and test just like it did here on this candle at 10:55. I wanted my stop to be just below value area low. Now, with it stopping right here, I didn't like the risk to reward, so I didn't take that trade, right? So when I didn't take that trade, I was looking for another breakdown, right, to come to value area low. But then we ran up to, let's see here. Now this dark red line right here, that's Camarilla R4. Let me just point that out. So that's Camarilla R4 right there, and that was at 39.8950, right? So when we ran up to that level, which is a heavy resistance level, and it kind of coincides with, let's see here. Right, so it kind of coincides a little bit with the POC area of the money zone, which is these two lines right here. it's actually a couple points, a couple ticks down, a couple points down, but still it's kind of running into a resistance level at this point, right? So when I saw this here and you saw the reversal, I was looking at bookmap. Let me just switch over to bookmap real quick. So I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, so we're probably gonna get a reversal here back down to the value area low for entry, right, to go long. So let me just and just looking at bookmap structure. So I'm looking at bookmap structure around this Camarilla R4 level, and you can see the buying has dried up a lot, right? So there isn't much buying. Like, that's the buying right there. We have an exhaustion at this level right here. Let me just try and point that out. Right, so this here is that kind of copperish line. That's the ask, right? So nothing is hitting the ask, and we're getting little buying right here, right? So when I started to see this kind of exhaustion right here, I thought to myself, I say, okay, so I could take a little ride down to value area low for another long setup, right? So let's see here. Let me just switch over to NinjaTrader, right? So let's see here. So my first short position was 11.25, right? So let's see here, just switching back over to bookmap. 11.25. And actually, let me make NinjaTrader into a 1 minute chart so I could see the times better. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me just make some adjustments here. Right, so 11.25. Let me just find this on bookmap here. 11.25 was my first short entry. So I think I kind of jumped the gun here a little bit on this short entry right here. Let's see what. 39.79.25. Right, so around this time here, this is where I was starting to see like a pullback, right? And you can see this red line here, that's the trades counter puck, right? So anything above this here, this is actually showing you where the most trades is taking place, right? So when we start breaking down that level, it's kind of like a point of control. So when you break down that level, it's signifying that there's a lot of selling coming in, right? Or sellers are kind of in control, right? So at 39.79.25, let's see, let's just make sure here. And let me switch over to NinjaTrader so you can see that. Right, so 39.79.25 at 11.25, right? So took that trade right there and actually stopped out. Well, I added to the position at 39.81 and then 39.81.25, right? So let's see, go back over here. right? So 11.25, 39.79, 25, right? So right here entered my first position. Then we pushed up to the 981, entered another position right here, and I think it was around this level right here. Yeah. So on the pullback here where it's breaking down, entered another one, and somewhere around here entered another one, right? So at this point here, I got stopped out. Let's see. I think I got stopped out somewhere around here. Let's see what that was. 39.8750 at 11:30. To the 987.50. Right, so around here after this big bullish push up right here at 11:30, right? Yeah, so somewhere around here I got stopped out, 39.8750. Right, so when it pushed up here and we had that breakout, I just stopped out, right? So let's go back to Ninja Trader. Right, so now where I entered these positions, my first position was 39.87, where I re-entered the short after you see we had this doji candle right here, and entered the position short here at 39.87, right? So going back over to bookmap, 39.87 at 11:32. Right, so you can see the structure right here. We topped out at R4, which is where I should have probably entered in the first place. I should have a little more patience and wait for R4. But I was looking at that structure right there, thinking we'll come back to the value area low, right? So that first short here stopped out around this level, 39.8750, and then at 11:32, you see we're moving sideways. We're getting the, let's see, let's make this a little bigger. Right, I want to show you the microstructure, right? So up here, let's see. As you see, we're starting to get very little buying, right? So there's no initiative participants really making any big moves right here, right? So the buying is starting to dry up. This is at 11:29, right after I stopped out. And that was the doji candle I was showing you before, right? So let me just switch over real quick. Right, so this candle right here, buying is drying up right here on that candle, and buying started to dry up on top here, right? So with these both candles right here, right, and showing that over on bookmap here, right? So we have this first exhaustion really of the buyers. We pulled back, came back up, retest here again at 11:30, and I entered short at what time? 11:32. So this is a second attempt here for the buyers. They came back up. All right, let me pull this out. We had some buying, but then there's exhaustion right here again, very little buying. Right, so there's another attempt right there. So you can see it's creating like a triple top right there, right? So exhaustion at the top, creating a triple top right there. We had some initiative participants try to come in here, but they basically failed, right? It wasn't enough to push price higher, right? So let's see, moving across, came down, and this is the lower high right here. Now we're starting to get the breakdown, right? So after the triple top, right? So you get the triple top exhaustion. You get another attempt right here after a breakdown, exhaustion, and now total exhaustion here as well. No buyers on the ask, right? So at 11:32, I went short at 39.8750, which is basically right here, right? So as I'm seeing this exhaustion right here, I just entered at 11:32, 39.750, and we took that all the way down to, let's see here, let's pull back up trade and view. Right, so establishing some targets here from trade and view, right? I'm looking at going back to value area low. Well, this was basically, I'm thinking about catching a ride back down to value area low to catch like a long position, right? Because it's basically setting up like a long. So I'm thinking about coming back here to catch the long position, but I saw, well, okay, if we're exhausting on the top, I could catch a short from here and take it down to value area low, right? So the initial target was value area low, but then I actually started contemplating getting to the pivot zone, which is this central floor pivot at this level, the blue line, right? Which was approximately 39.63, right? So I front run that a little bit at 39.6325, and the open was actually 39.6375. I think that was the ETH open, right? So that yellow cross line right there, that's the ETH open at 39.6375. So my target was 39.6325, right? So just above this pivot zone. So let's see here. Right, so looking at bookmap again, as you see, we're breaking down here, got the retest at 39.8725, broke down, and let's see. I made some more entries, so let me just pull back up Ninja Trader. Right, so as we're breaking down, right, we had the retest right here after we broke down to 39.8050 at around 11:39, pulled back up here, so I entered some shorts again at 39.83. Last one here was at 39.8250, and then entered short, added to the position here at 11:45 again at 39.81, right? So moving along here, first partial was at 39.74, right? So let's see. So let's see here, 11:40, 39.83. $11.40, 39.83. Right, so you see we're pulling back here. So on these pullbacks somewhere around here, 39.83 on this pullback here, entered short. So let me go over to bookmap. Right, 39.83, 11.40. So we're pushing down, got the Camarilla R4 rejection, 39.83, 11.40. Yeah, and this is basically the entry here again short, right? So it's pulling down, we pull down to this level, right? We had a breakdown here to like 39.80. When it came back to 39.83.50, yeah, that was it. Let me see, let me make sure. 39.83, right? So when it came back to 39.83, entered short here again around this position, somewhere around here, and then we broke down again. I entered short again. My last shorts were at 39.81. Right, so around here when we broke down and pulled back up around 11:45, 39.81, entered short here again, added to the position, and then we just started to break down, losing that red POC line, the trace counter POC line. Had a little consolidation auction around that area, tried to push up again, basically retested this area right here, right, at around 39.81.50. Came short of it at 39.81, broke down to the POC area again, pulled back up to 39.80.25, even lower, got another breakdown, had that auction right there, and we just kept on moving down, right? So got my first target here at 39.74. So this was my first target right here, broke down to 39.74 around this area right here, right? So we consolidated after that, and then I was aiming for 39.63, right? So I actually got my target at 39.63.25. So lost value area low, which is here, right? So you can see this now is the session volume point of control, right? So this was, let's see, this was here, push back up to test to see if this was high enough. Well, it's kind of, when it moves up like this against the price when it's coming down, it's basically asking, is this too high, right? So when price fails at this level, it's answering the question saying, is this too high? And yes, it's too high. So we're moving down again, consolidating around that POC, right? The POC is moving down with price now. So when it moves down, so let me just point this out, right? The push-up is asking if it's too high. You get the rejection and the breakdown, you get the test, you get the test, you get the test, and it moves lower. Right, so now the POC moves lower as well. You get the test of the POC, right, and it keeps on moving lower. And now POC is moving lower with the price. So POC is acting in this instance. It's acting like if it's like a pressure downwards, right? Because it's keep on asking, is this too low? And the price action is always answering yes, yes, yes as it moves down, you know. So when it moved down to this level here at 39.61, price pushed down. Well, I actually got my target right at 39.63.25. So right here I got my target right around this area right here. Right, so around that area right there. Let me just make that a little bigger. Right, so around here I hit my target to the 963.25, consolidated a little bit, and just basically explaining this how this POC works, right? So it left the POC area again. POC didn't move lower anymore. It moved down to this area to the 961.25. Price came back to retest it, started moving sideways around it, right? And this is how you know you're going to get reversals, right? So remember, the question is still being asked by the point of control, is this too low, right? So it's moving around it now. It's not moving. The direction as the trade has shifted in how it's acting, right, towards the POC. Now it's actually challenging it more often, right? Going around it, and breaking above. So the POC now decides to ask, is this too low, right? And it moves up to the VWAP area, and you get that sideways movement above the POC level, right? So for a reversal trader, These are the kind of things you could look at on Bookmap, and then you get the answer from here of a VWAP and the POC, because now VWAP and POC is now aligning, right? So it's creating a support and price is above it, and that's when we get that reversal. Right back above the value area low, came back to test the value area low. POC moved up again, came back down, tested VWAP, moving around POC a little bit and the value area low area, and took off again. Back up to the Camarilla R4. And this is current price action right now. So these are all levels, so now I have to draw the new Camarilla levels, right? So alright, so this video is getting kind of long. So that was my trade recap there. It was I think it was 23.75 points on the drop from 39.87 to 39.6350. So let's see here, let's see. $39.87 to 39.6325, which is minus 23.75. So 23.75 to the downside, right? So that's 23.75 points to the downside. And this trade, it netted me a decent profit. I didn't go too crazy with the entries. Oh man, I didn't switch over. Let me just show you that again, because my crazy ass didn't switch over to this. Right, so from 39.87 down to 39.6325. That's 23.75 points to the downside, right? So basically Camarilla R4 to the pivot level, right? So it was a nice short trade. We got that reversal right there, and you could have caught this both ways. You know what I'm saying? You could have followed the POC, as I was saying, on Bookmap, and caught this reversal here as well. So it was basically setting up all day like a long position. So this was the weakness, got the weakness, and eventually it came back into the kind of like the value area. Well, not kind of, came back into the market profile value area above the value area low, and maintain a bullish posture into the close. Yeah, and that's my trade, man. So again, this is my Apex trader funding account, getting much closer to being funded. This is the 150k account, and I'm like about, anyway, I'll let you know when I get funded. I'm very close to getting funded, right? So you just gotta hit your targets, and if you want to try the same thing as well, you want to try and get funded, I'll leave a discount link. You get 50% off from Apex Trader Funding, and you could get either any size account you want. I think you could get from 50k, 150k, 300k. So I'm actually doing two at the same time, which is 150k and 300k. So you all check out the link in the description, and you can get 50% off on that. Alright, y'all, so that's my trade recap on MES today, and it's Malak Shalomo, and you all trade safe and stay blessed.